County, James Agri Bob Orengo, is also called Nyatieng. He will explain to us what that means in a minute, as we also continue to take stock of what happened this past week. And remember, his security was withdrawn. There's been some development in the Linda Mwananchi side, and of course, nationally, we've had the issue of the fuel hike demonstrations that we also witnessed in the country. And he's here to speak to us about that and so many more in this show. Thank you so much, Governor, for your time.
Thank you.
Asante sana. It's always been a pleasure to host you in this show.
I'm glad to be with you.
Asante. Tuanzie tu, what is the meaning of Nyatieng?
Nyatieng is a grinding stone. When you are grinding maize or millet, there's that round stone you use for grinding. So I have that as a nickname called Nyatieng. Of course, it's a stone, so sometimes some people call me Kidi. Yeah, so one of the many.
Because you grind, what is it?
Politically, they say anybody who comes on my way, the grinding stone will turn you to flour.
All right, let's start with the conversation that has been trending this week. We saw you release a statement on Wednesday evening saying that your security had been withdrawn. As of this point, has the security been reinstated?
No, it has not been reinstated. In fact, all of them were withdrawn. Yesterday, I thought the security at my rural home had been retained, but I learned this morning that they have also been withdrawn. So I have no official government security as we speak now. This is not the first time it has happened to me, but most of the time when it has happened, it has been one of the many. It will involve 3 or 4 individuals or 10, but I've tried to check out, and I found out that it's only me who had security details, withdrawn.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many?
For what reasons, I don't know.
Okay. How many officers were taken?
5.
5.
Yes.
And where were they stationed at?
Not only 5 personal security are moved with, but the people who are at my residency and at home, they normally work in shifts of 2 or 1. All that has been withdrawn.
So in total, how many?
9.
9 officers. Wow. And as you said in your letter, you are guaranteed the security according to the Constitution because of your office.
Yeah, because, the courts have spoken on this many times, and I've gone to court personally to present my colleagues who had their security withdrawn over time. And all the time the court has made orders that they should be reinstated. I don't know whether I'll go to court because I find it ludicrous that the government, which is based on the Constitution, the kind of Constitution we have to go back to all these things every time, it happens. So it's a way of intimidating me. It is a way of harassing me. But I can assure those who have done it that I'll not be deterred. I rely on the people, and the people will look after us.
Okay. Can you talk to us briefly about that process? What time did it happen, and did you receive a call from your officers, or how did it happen?
I didn't receive a call at all from the National Police Service. No senior officer in the National Police Service called me. I was told by my security when I was on the way coming to Nairobi in Kisumu. That was around 3 p.m. that all of them had been recalled. One of them was here in Nairobi, already had been recalled, and the others were told to report to Nairobi, which they all did. In fact, 2 of them, they were told to wear the uniforms immediately, and they were assigned to, guard the gate somewhere in Embakasi.
And have you heard from the Inspector General of Police?
Sending a letter out. I also found it unnecessary to call him because it shouldn't happen in the first place. So I wrote that letter as a matter of record that he's made aware that such a thing has happened.
Okay. And you've said this is not the first time they're doing this. Yes. What other instances did we see this happen as well?
It has happened many times when there is an issue, like when the opposition was out on a cause like demonstrations or political meetings, or you said something which the government didn't like, they would do things like those. And you know, when it used to happen in other governments, particularly during the Uhuru demonstration, this president now would make a lot of noise. Remember one time when some of his officers were recalled, yes, and he made a lot of hay out of it and said that cannot happen. Okay. And if he, you know, gets political power, he will not let that kind of thing happen.
While this is still happening when he is president, what do you make of it? That
it is a pattern. I mean, if you have a government when people are abducted and you find no answers, you have a government when people are, you know, killed, you know, extrajudicial killing continues. Just yesterday in Busia, 2 people were killed, and I'm told one of them is an officer assigned to the so-called acting Secretary General of ODM, Catherine Omanyo. So 2 people were killed for no good reason. So I suppose there's an element of lawlessness and an absence of the rule of law, because court orders are also being flouted. So to that extent, I think I am not surprised because this government is authoritarian, and they don't really value the democratic principles and institutions that have been established.
All right. You also mentioned that the previous times you were denied your security, you went to court and it was reinstated. Are you also planning to maybe move to court?
I'm not really enthusiastic about it, because it shouldn't happen in the first place. And there are so many court decisions on this matter. In fact, I'm now seeing a lot of people in government I used to represent when their security was withdrawn. And yet they're in this government and it is happening. So I think they've just decided, you know, the best thing is to rule, you know, with a heavy hand instead of ruling by a dint of the law or the Constitution.
Okay. So you won't be moving to court?
I don't think I'll do it.
And you'll be okay without your security?
I'll be okay, but if anything happens to me, they will stand accused.
Do you feel threatened? Is your life in danger now that you are walking without you?
I feel so, because you remember, goons have been attacking, you know, political leaders. My friend and colleague Ososi was attacked in broad daylight. I went to a funeral service in Seme, and again, you know, I was attacked by goons. So, without a doubt, I'm worried about it, but I'm not intimidated, because if I worry about it, then I cannot do the political work that I'm supposed to do. So I, guided by the words of President Roosevelt when he said, "I have nothing to fear but fear itself." All
right. And maybe as we close that part, because the IG might be actually watching this later in our bulletins, what would you tell him? Because, as you say, you wrote to him, but he hasn't responded.
I'll hold him responsible if anything happens to me. And you remember, there are moments when these things have happened before. Mboya was killed in broad daylight in the streets of Nairobi because his security detail was not with him. JM was abducted right in the middle of this town because he had no security with him. And days later, you know, he was found dead somewhere in Ngong. So if something like that happens to me, or if I'm attacked by goons like Ososi was attacked, I'll hold the IG responsible.
All right. Fair enough. Let's move it forward to what has also been happening. You mentioned that this is an attempt to intimidate you and maybe force you to submission and all that. What are they intimidating you about?
Well, I suppose it's because of my political position. And I wonder that anybody would think that I'd be intimidated if a thing like that happens. This has happened to me constantly in not only my political life, but even as a student leader. I have always operated in an environment which is hostile from the government or security of the day. If they didn't intimidate me then, they're not going to intimidate me now. So I'll continue doing my work the way I should.
All right. This is coming, I think, about a few days after some sentiments you made in Homa Bay, I think, Oyugi's town, responding to something about the governor of Homa Bay, Gladys Wanga. First of all, what did you make? What did you mean by the words you said?
I mean, it's absolutely unwarranted what they've been making noise about. What I said, if you want to negotiate with somebody, you must negotiate on strong grounds. And I gave an example of what President Nyerere said, that if you have an opponent or somebody you want to discuss a deal with, it could be a political deal, you don't walk into his house and eat his food before you make that deal. You finish the deal fast, and then you can eat his food. So I was saying, ODM was going into an arrangement in which they already been completely sold out. But I want just to make this statement. Newton's law of motion, the third law of motion, says that for every action, there's an equal opposite reaction. So I think it should be seen in that light. That when these things happened, they know the history behind it. They know what they had been saying about me, terrible things they had been saying about me. They know about this sexist remarks that they made about themselves even, leave alone things concerning the women folk.
So this was a retaliation from you?
It's not a retaliation. It was a remark I was making, a justified remark, a political statement that I was making. And by the way, it was not the first time I made that statement. I made that statement months ago in Migori, in the presence of President Ruto. I was telling them, you cannot negotiate with us when already we have eaten from your plate, where we must negotiate with you from a point of strength. And this is what they agreed with Raila. Raila said in the 10-point agenda that the integrity of political parties must be protected. The integrity of political parties. Now, we have a situation where Ruto has bought ODM. That ODM is incapable of defending the party, protecting the interests of the members, and also, becoming the defender of the people. ODM is a pro-people party, is a political movement that is progressive. But now we are becoming a party of this.
Which part of ODM has become weak? Because there's a recent survey that was given recently that said the Linda Mwananchi side, the one that you are in, has a 73% support compared to the Linda ground one. So which one is weak?
Because the Linda.
Which one is? So there's no DM. There are factions. Is that what you're saying?
They know that. So there's no. They know. They know that they have sold out, and we are saying that Linda ground faction or team is not ODM, because they have denounced the political strength and ethos and the political blueprint and soul of the party. So they cannot call themselves really ODM when they have violated the very foundational principles that ODM was established on.
Okay. When you say the ODM party is negotiating, of course you're talking about those who are in office, led by Oburu Oginga and the rest of the members of the Linda ground. What do you mean when you say they're negotiating from a point of weakness?
From a point of weakness, but because two of them are, I mean, from the Nyanza side, two of them are already in government. It is not an ODM government, it's a UDA government. There is no agreement or instrument upon which this arrangement was established. They answer to President Ruto absolutely as the head of that government and President of the Republic of Kenya. They have nothing they can show Ruto and tell him, this is the agreement that we used to form this so-called broad-based government. So I can say without fear or favor that they are completely down.
What should they ask for? Because as it looks, the ODM party is not going for number one, the president, or the number two.
Maybe I think that the leader ground should just let go. They're incompetent. Anything that they do is a disaster. So they should leave the true ODM, which is Linda Mwananchi, to determine the course of the affairs of this nation, to protect the people first. That's why we talk about Linda Mwananchi. Okay. So the starting point is protection of the...
Okay, if you are to negotiate, if you are to lead the negotiations, as you say, because you've been there before with Raila Odinga, how would Raila negotiate into this deal?
You know, when we were negotiating with Kibaki, and I was there at the high point when we were at Harambee House with the eminent persons led by Jakaya Kikwete at that time, President Kapa, Gracia Machel, and of course Kofi Annan. The starting point for Raila was that I won this election. I have a true claim to the seat of the presidency. So as we sit here now, Kibaki should agree to hand over, the presidency to me. I'm quoting Raila. That was the basis of the negotiations. It was from a position of strength. But our people in Linda ground, they don't know what they want, because initially they were talking about the deputy president. That went into thin air. They talk about 50-50. I don't know how they can get 50-50 when already in UDA there's Kenya, in Kenya Kwanza they have Ford Kenya, they have other parties, and some of those parties have been swallowed by UDA. So I don't think they're going to come out with anything.
What do you think they will get?
They even talk about zoning. Mm-hmm. And President Ruto is completely silent about it.
Okay. What do you think they will get from this deal? Because they've said they're going all the way to 2027 with President Ruto.
I mean, they're not going to get anything. At the end of the day, people are going to get frustrated.
Number one, they won't get a president.
They will not. They will not. Yeah, they will not.
Number two?
Number two, they will not get 50-50.
Deputy president?
Yeah, and 50% of government, I don't think they're going to get.
What percentage do you think they will get?
I don't know, because Wakina Wetangula and Mudavadi asked for 30%, which they didn't get. So if that's an example to go by, they have a very weak chance of getting.
About what percentage?
I think if they get 5%, I'll be surprised. But at the hour of reckoning, after the elections, because governments are formed after elections, Ruto will be asking for numbers, which is what he asked Wetangula and Mudavadi. Yes, you said 30%, but what numbers have you brought? Yeah, so the numbers were negligible. If you look at what Ruto could claim that UDA had brought into government compared to what they had brought, it was negligible. Okay. Now, if ODM, so to speak, is led to the elections by Linda Ground, I think for them to get even 30 parliamentary seats, they'll be lucky.
Okay. 30? Yes,
I mean it. I mean, if their popularity compared to Linda Mwananchi is 23, 24%, if you translate that into the seats that ODM has at the moment, it's about 30 seats. Yeah. So the true ODM that can bring victory to the party and bring the numbers is Linda Mwananchi.
Are you willing to negotiate with President Ruto?
No.
Why?
Because he has violated everything he negotiated with Raila.
So Linda Mwananchi cannot negotiate with...
10-point agenda. You know, it is history now. They don't even talk about it. There was the voluminous NADCO report. That also, it's been thrown into the dustbin. And right now, they're getting everything wrong. If you look at the cost of living, Kenyans are complaining all over. So I don't think going into negotiations with the government with that reputation will help us as a party, and it cannot help us protect the interests of the people.
Okay. What about the other side? Are you willing to work with Gachagua and the United Opposition?
For now, we're saying Linda Mwananchi, ODM Linda Mwananchi, has got what it takes to form a government, to have a presidential candidate. Going by how we are being received all over the Republic, I think we are the majority party in the hearts of the people in this country. Yeah.
So you've talked about you having a team. So you'll field a presidential candidate as the Linda Mwananchi team and the whole squad from top down, yeah?
We have to.
You have to. Are you going to run for president there?
Well, I'm part of a team. I'm part of a team and a disciplined member of the team. I'm quoting Mandela by saying I'm a disciplined member of the team. I've expressed interest, but we'll be guided by what the team feels we should do.
So you're not yet decided whether you want to run for president or you want to run for your...
But an expression of interest is important. That's the beginning. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. So an expression of interest is an important step towards that end. But our rallying call as Linda Mwananchi is that we will do everything within our power to make sure President Ruto is not elected as the President of the Republic of Kenya, that we will return him home. And to that extent, if we have to take steps, which must be progressive steps, we cannot enter into an arrangement in which we are going to create another Ruto. Which, by the way, the presence of Ruto is a recreation of the absolute and despotic government that we had during the Kanu days.
So, Governor, I want to take you back to the sentiments you made about ODM as well in the Nyanza region. How is your relationship with the governor of Homa Bay, the chairperson of ODM?
Well, she's a member of ODM, and I'm a member of ODM. I have no personal quarrels with her, but I think they don't mean well for the party and even for the community. They are serving their own self-interest. And in any case, before you ask me that question, I think that question should have been thrown to her. The many times she has been to Siaya, the many times she has been in the region and outside the region, the things that have been said about me, and I've been quiet over the period of the last 6 months. And I've taken it, lightly and as political banter. but it has been persistent.
You've reached the breaking point.
Yeah, I could say that. I could say that.
And that's why we saw the comment we saw on Monday.
It was not just a comment. It was a political statement, and it should be seen in that light.
So if you have shown interest that you want to run for president, where does it leave your current position as governor? Are you going to defend your seat as governor of Sierra County?
Well, you cannot do the same, you cannot run for two positions simultaneously. But we have not reached that critical hour. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because, people have to present nominations. IBC has to give an election timetable about presentation of nomination papers. Okay. So I think we have time on our side, 3, 4, 5 months. And things like that have happened. You have a president in Senegal who never declared he was going to run until it was impossible for his colleague Sonko to run. And he came out of jail and ran and became president. So I don't want to put myself in a situation where I make an expression as at an individual level when we're in a political movement. And that political movement makes the decisions.
So we could be right to say that you are still running for governor again in next election?
No. I think it can't work either way. I think I'm in a state of considering, running for president. If I don't, it doesn't necessarily mean that I run for governor. And also that doesn't mean that I'm not going to run for governor. Okay.
So probably you said about 4 to 5 months is when you can make a decision. So do we expect, how soon do you expect a decision?
Well, watch this space. I think that's the best way to put it. Watch this space.
All right. Let's talk more about the issues that have been happening around ODM. Your party leader, you're on record saying that you are the acting party leader. Said you could be the party leader of birds or trees and all that, and he says he's still strong. What would be your reaction to his sentiments?
Well, I have a lot of respect for Dr. Buru. I've known him and his family for a very long time. But if you consider what the party ODM is and the struggles that ODM has gone through, and the founders of the party and those who were there before the party was founded, the political program they were in, I think is out of its depth in leading the party, a progressive political movement. I think they're now a party, so to speak, if I can call their faction a party. It's become a party of the status quo. They are part, if not a satellite of UDA, and that is there for everybody to see.
Mm-hmm. So you feel like he's incompetent to lead the party at this point?
It is not just a question of incompetence, but I think it is a lack of credentials. Yeah, but leading a political party is a different game.
Where is
and a progressive party, so to speak. So I think, and if you look at political comment and even cartoons, the shoes, the political shoes that he has been shown to be wearing, they're too big.
He said he will come with his own shoes.
Now, come with your own shoes, there's only one position of a party leader. If you become a judge, you wear the same robe as other judges. You don't bring, robes that are your own, so to speak. So the political shoes, because we're not talking about literally shoes, we're talking about the political shoes. the shoes don't fit.
So you feel like he can't lead the ODM party?
It's not my isolated decision. I think a lot of people think and know that it'd be hell for him to lead the party to it.
All right. The party leaders actually said that if you want to run the party, you should have come to the NDC, the special NDC that was there, and declare your candidature.
There was no election. There was no election. There was no election. And you know that.
But we saw people, names being proposed and being seconded and voted by acclamation by the delegates.
No. There were names which came, so to speak, from that original meeting they had with Ruto in State House with proposals. So they went to the party management committee, and that party management committee is not an elective body. Then they went to the executive committee of the party, which is not an elective body. And when they went to the NDC, which is an electoral body, they did not conduct an election. They simply said affirmation. Affirmation.
So why didn't you go to the NDC to be affirmed?
But my name was not on the paper for affirmation. You know, it was ludicrous for a big party like ODM to fear holding elections for national officials. And I think you know, because your media house was represented in those meetings, there was no election. There were no ballot papers. There was no ballot box.
I covered the NDC. Yes. There were no ballot boxes, but you can vote in different ways, including acclamation.
But acclamation, where you had an open invitation for people to be nominated and seconded. But what happened? They had a list. They just read the list.
All right. There's a question.
That's what they do in dictatorships.
Okay. There's a question here about talk of supremacy battles within the Linda Mwananchi faction. Who is the leader? Who is the party leader of Linda Mwananchi?
I'm the party leader. You have heard Ososi say as much. You have heard Sifuna say as much. Were you in Kisumu at that grand rally?
I was in
there. Yeah, when he was, making a speech, and he called me out and said, "Our party leader, come," and he said, he could not serve the party leader that you're talking about, but he was prepared to work with the party leader called James Orengo.
So you're the party leader of Linda Mwananchi?
Public.
So are you the party leader of Linda Mwananchi then?
The party leader of Linda Mwananchi, which is the true representation of ODM.
So you are?
I am.
What about Babu Winos?
And I chair meetings of Linda Mwananchi.
So you're the party leader?
Are you surprised?
Why is it not official?
Because we don't have to shout over these things.
When was that election done to elect you as the party leader of Linda Mwananchi?
That election came by acclamation, as you so speak, as you say, and it came because everywhere we went, Mombasa, Kakamega, Kisumu, everybody was referring to me as party leader. So I'm the people's, party leader. But we have said, in order to bring this whole story to an end, ODM should hold an NDC where the sole agenda is election and a free and fair election. Sifuna's term as Secretary General has come to an end in October. So are the term of all the others who were elected with them 5 years ago.
So you will then vie for party leader officially of the ODM party?
If I find it necessary. Yeah. The fact that I'm de facto party leader does not mean that when those elections are called, I'll run. But most likely I will.
So there's no any bad blood between you, Edwin Sifuna, the senator for Nairobi, and Babu Owino, MP for Embakasi East?
Babu Owino is here. He's next door here. He's been here for the last 2 hours. When you came, we were having a meeting with him, and I asked him, please, can you step aside as I have this interview? Today I spoke to Edwin Sifuna. He's in Cape Town. So all this nonsense has no truth in it at all.
Who would be fueling? Who would be fueling the nonsense, as you say?
Our enemies. Our enemies. If you look at the Citizen newspaper today, you'll see that kind of crap also. Not the Citizen TV. Yeah, the Citizen.
That's a different entity.
Yeah.
A couple of questions before we finish, Governor, and thank you for your time as well. There was a time you mentioned, and you said that there was some foul play with the death of Raila Odinga. Do you still maintain the same sentiments?
I talked about it in my meetings, my public meetings, even in Homer Bay.
What evidence do you have?
I have evidence in the circumstances, circumstantial evidence. If it leads to a reasonable conclusion, and in the absence of any other reasonable explanation, can lead to a resolution or a determination, even by a court of law. And I have put the issues on the table that call for answers. The way Raila was evacuated from here, the absence of the doctors who were looking after him when that evacuation was.
So just those two grounds?
No, not just two grounds. Even what happened in India, as we speak now, we don't have a report, a proper post-mortem report. And when I'm talking about a post-mortem report, I'm talking about a comprehensive post-mortem report.
But is that personal stuff?
They're not personal. If a public leader, I mean, if he was not a public leader, we would not be making all this noise.
So you want that post-mortem report made public?
Yes, I want it made public, plus other examinations to be done. Some of us who have been involved in postmortems know that there are lots of other tests which would normally be done, not just at the time of the conduct of the postmortem.
But that would be time barred, because Raila is already buried?
No, it's not time barred.
Are you proposing that we exhume his body?
It's not time barred. When I was doing the Julie Ward case, we completely, demolished the post-mortem report because, what it was saying was the cause of death was absolutely ludicrous. There was a suggestion that, Julie Ward was killed by animals, which was what was in the record of the post-mortem report. The Uko trial, which I got involved in, they said Uko killed himself and set himself on fire. So a post-mortem report has no finality by itself.
Mm-hmm. But the only way to get to further details about his death would be exhumation of his body. Is that what you're
Yeah,
suggesting?
no, not necessarily. Not necessarily. It depends on what is available. Maybe some tissues were taken from the body. Toxology, I don't know whether that was done. Not necessarily. Yeah. You know, there are people who have had a reconstruction of cause of death many years. People are finding even mummies in Egypt, 5,000 year old, persons who died and were mummified. Scientists are able to go back and determine many things, including probable cause of death. Yeah.
The former lawyer of Raila Odinga, his legal advisor, whom we actually hosted in this show, Paul Mwangi, said that Raila always operated with two wings of his party, the militant side and the political side, and also a side that is diplomatic. Two sides, diplomatic and militant. Do you think that was the case in your time when you operated with him?
No, I think Raila all the time was, working on scenarios like every smart politician would do. That you enter into an arrangement like this political arrangement that people are getting into, and then there was always a possibility that arrangement, including the Grand Coalition government, which was constitutionalized, we had a strategy of how to walk out of that government and what to do, and a strategy to work within that government so that ODM didn't lose its soul. So I don't think it was necessarily an exit strategy. I think that was not the proper word to use, because Raila was never really in the broad-based government. He never really was.
But he said it himself that we are here until 2027.
No, he said our experts are there until 2027. Didn't he say we have loaned some experts? And that arrangement is what will hold sway until 2027. Because he could not be saying that and at the same time have the leader of the minority in the National Assembly being an ODM member or in the Senate. You cannot be in government at the same time preside over the opposition in Parliament. It can't work that way.
All right, as we bring it to a close, you've talked about the experts. The two of them were at the center of the storm this week regarding the issue of the fuel hike, the prices that went through the roof. How was their performance, and probably what are the suggestions you'd give to reduce the cost of fuel?
First of all, if you look at what I said when these experts went into government, I warned and said this is a poison chalice. This thing may bring you down. And I think the performance was lacking in terms of vision and in terms of implementation. Because governments normally foresee many scenarios. Could be a war, a real war within the territory. Could be crops failing. So all the time you're playing those scenarios. So there are people who enter into an arrangement which is similar to this G2G arrangement, which is called futures. You get a supply supposedly on some contract which allows you to pay the same price for a number of years in order to make sure that you don't get into these fluctuations. But I think if this was a government protecting the interests of the people and looking at the cost of living, there are so many interventions which could have been made immediately without hiking the price of fuel, like a reduction or elimination of fuel levy, the elimination of taxes relating to fuel, injection of capital, 10 billion odd, instead of all this waste, just on a travel to Baku, the president spent nearly 100 million. If they had made an injection of about 10 billion to support, the oil prices, they could have been put at a level which would not have interfered with the cost of living as it has.
Okay. Lastly, there's a question here from our viewers and listeners. One of them, and they're saying that there's an impeachment motion against you that is brewing at the county assembly. Are you worried about it?
Is it there?
It's been cooked.
Yeah.
The signature.
Is either there's an impeachment motion or none. These are speculations. I think at my level, I would not want to deal with prepositions which have no legal foundation. I have not been served with any impeachment motion. If there was, I'd be the first person to see it. And haven't they not talked about that impeachment motion from the day I was elected? You remember?
So there's just been threats.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if they come, it's a constitutional and legal process.
Mm-hmm. And you're not worried about it?
I'm not worried. All right.
Yeah. As we wrap it up, you said that the problem with ODM is President William Ruto, but the president is the party leader of another party. How does he come into that arrangement?
Yeah, it comes to the arrangement because the decision to make the changes in ODM in leadership was done a day after Raila died in State House. He presided over that meeting. Many meetings of ODM, so to speak, particularly the management committee, has been held in State House and at his residence in Kilgoris. Why would a leader of another party preside over the affairs of another party, a competing party? He has been funding ODM, that is known. He spent about 300 million shillings during the 20-year anniversary in Mombasa. That is fact. And he was a guest in Mombasa. For now, for all intents and purposes, the party leader of ODM Linderground is President Ruto. He's not Oburu. Wanga, Junaid, everybody is reporting to him.
And will be one term?
Who?
President Ruto?
He has no pathway to victory. I think President Ruto, wherever he's sitting, is a worried man. Even if he shows up a face of confidence, he is a worried man. If you look at the numbers, he has no pathway to victory.
He has Rift Valley. He has parts of Mount Kenya.
Rift Valley, how many votes?
I think I doubt there's any other challenger in Rift Valley.
He was complaining about numbers. That you people are letting me down. Somebody who is confident would not be making those noises. And those votes you're talking about in central Kenya, let's wait for Olkolao, the results of that election. And you'll know that, the guy has no pathway to victory. And this time, I think it's going to be so bad that stealing elections or interfering with the electoral process is going to be extremely difficult. Gen Zs also have showed it, that the level of resistance will be very high. And more than everybody, political parties and other stakeholders and other political players, I think people should remember that we got this movement within the young people that they want their country back. And they're not going to sit idle if an election is stolen. It won't happen.
So what is the path of the opposition to winning? Can you just count for us the numbers? You're an expert. You've been here before. You've seen many elections.
Yes.
What is the pathway to winning for you? Which votes do you have in the opposition? Let's start quickly. Because
very
of time.
quickly,
Yes.
I can tell you the votes in Nyanza are not going Ruto's way. And I've just been there recently. Everywhere I went, it was one term. I was not saying one term. It is the people who are telling me one term. In the middle of this fuel crisis, I was in Muhoroni, and they were saying the factory has not worked for the last 2 years. And the people who bought the factory are relatives of President Ruto. So they told me it is one term. Western region. You can see the politics of Western region at the moment. I don't think he has got a pathway to victory. In any case, Raila had the majority of the votes in Western. 60%. Yeah. And in Kisii is gone. And everywhere which is gone is in the basket of the opposition. Of course, in central Kenya, where he had more than 4.5 million votes, and Raila had about 1.56 million votes, he'd be lucky to get 500,000 votes, by my own reckoning. It may not be scientific, which means that if he gets 1 million votes, I would not have an issue with that. He'd be extremely lucky. In Ukambani, where are the votes? He lost all the major urban areas, Mombasa, Nairobi. He didn't get the votes.
So how many will he get? How many votes total?
If he gets 3 million votes, he'll be lucky. He'll be lucky. He'll be lucky. But I have to go back to your original question, because I've answered your question in the negative by saying he has no votes all over. Yeah. I think that if you look at all the political parties outside government, there's a level of commitment from all of them to ensure that President Ruto does not win the next elections. And I think that assurance is serious.
So how many votes will you get, the opposition person who, according to you, will win?
9 million votes.
Against 3.
Against 3. 9 million.
Thank you very much.
And it's coming. And President Ruto knows it is coming. Yeah. No, it's not just crystal ball, you know. Crystal ball, you may have some kind of healer behind a crystal ball, or a magician. But we are talking about data, numbers. And even you saw in the polls, if the TIFA polls were right, you know, within a degree of error, for a sitting president at this time to be having 24% of the vote, that's a matter of serious concern if I'll sit in his shoes.
Thank you so much, Governor. Asante. Well, that is the time that we had for you on this show. That was Governor for Siaya, James Orengo, telling it as he says, that it's gone, imeenda.